Ozark Traditions TV. The Ozarks, a land with a rich heritage of hunting and fishing. Join the Traditions team as they keep those old ways alive, and to the next generation, they'll be passing them down.
Early morning sunrise, dew is on the field. Birds are singing, welcome back, my friend. As I look around at nature's majesty, I thank God that I live in this land of the free. Ozark traditions in the great outdoors, hunting with my family, who could ask for more? Planting seeds of passion like those who've gone before. Ozark traditions in the great outdoors.
Ozark Traditions TV is brought to you by Friendly Firearms, CR, Creative Vinyl Signs and Decor, Jimmy D, Custom Game Calls, Duke Traps, America's Best Trap Value, Radians, Safety Apparel, and Protect the Harvest.
Hi everybody, welcome to Ozark Traditions TV. Today we're going to be sharing with you our bow hunt from this season.
First, we'd like to say thank you to those who helped us get where we are today. We're just a normal couple out there enjoying the outdoors. And big thanks to Matt Smith for lending us the camera to use for the season. We're really grateful for that. We're still getting used to it, so some of the shots may be a little out of focus, some of the audio may not be just right, but we're learning from our mistakes and we're enjoying our time together out there in God's creation.
Hey everybody, we're in the blind tonight. Got ready to some deer and you can get a shot on.
Well, we didn't have to sit there very long, because then we saw 3 deer making their way across the field.
The wind was blowing out of the right direction, but they just knew something wasn't right with the blind.
Well, I didn't get to fling an arrow that night, so a couple days later we headed out to our pallet blind. That's a homemade blind Justin and I made out of recycled pallet.
The pallet blind we built in the middle of a cedar thicket, and then we planted a clover plot in front of it. Trail camera was showing 2 does coming in every evening, so we figured that was our best bet for filling our tag.
So we made it to the pallet blind, and we were setting everything up, and we didn't even have time to do an interview before we saw 2 does walk out.
those two does walked out, we knew that they were young does, but the way that our rotation is, we weren't going to have any time to hunt after the time changed. So we went ahead and decided that we was going to harvest one of these does, put a little meat on the table.
We'll be right back with more Ozark Traditions TV after these messages.
At Friendly Firearms, 204 West 2nd Street, downtown Lebanon, we carry pistols, revolvers, shotguns, and rifles, as well as a full line of scopes and ammunition. We also have ammo cans, MREs, military boots, and clothing. Friendly Firearms offers a 60-day layaway on all guns, same as cash. We also handle gun transfers, so come see us at Friendly Firearms. Buy guns, sell guns, trade guns, and win guns. 204 West 2nd Street, downtown Lebanon, inside the Army Surplus. And like us on Facebook.
The deer was 3 yards from my blind. He was so close that I couldn't even draw my bow back.
Smoked it.
I'm glad I made a good shot because I didn't have to track it really far.
found the deer 20 yards from where I shot it. This estimate broadhead did a great job. I'll definitely be using it again next year. So now I'm excited for rifle season. So now we're gonna get some pictures and get her loaded up.
So after Robin shot her doe, I knew I'd have to be doing a little self-filming, and I wasn't having too much luck. My friend Ralph said he had been seeing a buck behind his house in this little scrap yard, and he told me I could come scout it out. So next day, me and Robin had off together. We headed up there and done a little scouting. Well, we're out here to the field where Ralph's been seeing that buck, so we found a few trails going in and out, and we found a pretty good spot to set up our blind, so we're gonna pop her up.
We'll be back with more Ozark Traditions TV after these messages.
Well, we're out here to the field where Ralph's been seeing that buck, so we found a few trails going in and out, and we found a pretty good spot to set up our blind, so we're gonna pop her up. So after getting that blind set up and brushed in, a couple days later, I finally got my chance to go set in it. We just got the blind. You can tell it's pretty windy tonight, so hopefully something comes by. Rifle season starts in about a week, so once that picks up, we know it's a little harder to kill one after that with a bow. So hopefully something rolls by and we can get a shot at it. Stay tuned. Well, I didn't have to sit there very long, and I could see some antlers on the wood line on the other side of the field. Watching that buck come across that field toward me got me a little shook up. I had a lot of things running through my mind. I forgot to turn on my GoPro, and he ended up stopping at an area that I'd already ranged. So I put my pin on him and let it fly. definitely wasn't a shot that I was proud of or that I was trying to make. I immediately knew that I was going to go home, watch the footage, either go back later that night or go back the next morning. After watching it about 1,000 times, I decided that I was going to wait till the next morning, and luckily enough, my mom was off the next day. She said she was going to help me film the recovery. Well, it's the morning after. We're heading out to see if we can't find that buck that I shot last night. We're just going to go in real slow and hopefully find him a little ways in the woods. Well, the blood wasn't looking very good until we found a place after it jumped the creek. The blood started looking a lot more brighter red, looking a lot more promising.
It looks like he jumped the creek right here. Well, he jumped the creek right here, and he had to be hurt pretty bad. He was bleeding good.
Folks, we're not more than 70 yards in. I can see him up here. It looks like the coyotes got him, but come with us. Just leave it on. You know what's wrong.
Oh my God, Justin! Oh, he's a beauty! Woohoo! Yeah. Okay, here you're rolling.
Well, after a sleepless night last night, we finally found my buck, and he didn't go more than 75 yards from the field edge there. But Ralph was nice enough to let me hunt on the promised land, is what we call it down here. And as you can see, it paid off. It's pretty promising over here, so it's pretty happy to have my mom and Jacob out here and Ralph helping me track this deer this morning. So thank you all for tuning in to this episode. I know it was a blast for me. Hope you guys enjoyed it as well. What is today, guys? November 9th?
Hey. Good love, brother.
Thank you.
It's like son.
Appreciate it.
All right. This makes me happy. You see the tag?
This is what it's all about, guys. I'm telling you.
Don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages with this week's There I Was.
At Friendly Firearms, 204 West 2nd Street, downtown Lebanon, we carry pistols, revolvers, shotguns, and rifles, as well as a full line of scopes and ammunition. We also have ammo cans, MREs, military boots, and clothing. Friendly Firearms offers a 60-day layaway on all guns, same as cash. We also handle gun transfers, so come see us at Friendly Firearms. Buy guns, sell guns, trade guns, and win guns. 204 West 2nd Street, downtown Lebanon, inside the Army Surplus, and like us on Facebook.
Well, after we got the buck drug up to the field back by the blind, it was time to take a few pictures, and then we decided to get a little more creative with our way of dragging the deer out.
That's all we had time for today, so thank you so much for watching Ozark Tradition TV.
I just want to remind you, it's not about killing the big bucks. It's about getting out there, enjoying God's creation with the ones you love, making memories, making traditions, and passing them down.
Yeah, you can touch him. What do you think? Caramel's gonna have to wash your hands before you go uptown.
Yeah. So we made it to the pallet blind and we were setting everything up and we didn't even have the time to do an interview before we saw two does walk out.
These does were ginormous.
On this week's There I Was, we have Chuck Knight from Lebanon, Missouri.
There I was. Halloween weekend a few years ago, hunting with some buddies of mine up around Columbia, Missouri. I got to my tree just a little bit before daylight and got my climber on. Got up, got my bow pulled up, and it was just pink light about that time, and I drew back to see if I could see through my peep and see my pins, and I could. I noticed some movement off to my far right and looked, and this deer was working a scrape about 40 yards from me, and I had one hole to shoot through. I had to turn around and sit on the rail of my climber to line that hole up with his chest, and I put my 40-yard pin on him and shot. And looked like I made a pretty good shot, but in the low light it was kind of hard to tell. And so I called my buddy Marcus, who I was hunting with, and told him what had happened, and he was wanting me to stay up in the tree as long as I could, and to come and help me with the blood trail, because that's one of the more exciting parts of a deer hunt. So I waited as long as I could. And he actually cut his hunt a little bit short and came over there, and I was still in the tree, and I directed him to where the deer was standing at when I shot. He'd found my arrow before I even climbed down. So I climbed down and got over there, and the arrow had pretty good blood on it, but it was missing one of the blades on the broadhead, so I was a little nervous about that, but had a decent blood trail going into the cedar thicket he ran into. So we followed it about 50 yards and came around a big cedar tree, and I'll never forget seeing his rack sticking up out of the grass, and it was pretty exciting. Go down there and get our hands put on him. And he's a mainframe 12-pointer, and he has 14 scoreable points. And he gross scored 177 5/8. And I feel very blessed to have been able to kill a deer like this, and especially with my bow.
That was a really great deer, Chuck. Thanks for bringing him to the show. And if you'd like to have your mount profiled on the show, go to our Facebook page, send us a message, and maybe we can get him on there. As always, we thank you for watching Ozark Traditions TV. Catch us again on our next episode, and we'll be out in God's country somewhere.